Hello, welcome back to another video. In this video I have a piece of lime wood that I have turned into the shape of a tree, and at the moment I am drawing on where I'm going to put the facial feature details. I make a line for where I'm going to put the eyes, then I draw a square for the nose. Now I'm making some lines for the cheeks. You'll see how these work later. It looks strange at first. So as you can see, I've drawn those, and now I'm just, trying to make them as even as possible. I try not to measure things out and make things perfect, because that way each piece, even the same piece, becomes a unique piece all to itself. So here I'm cutting a stock cut, and this is where I'm going to put the eyes. So I start above the nose. I turned the wood around because of the way the grain was going. If I had tried to go the other way, it would have given me more chance of the wood splitting. So I'm literally just smoothing out an area where I can draw in the eyes once I have my space. This is actually one of the cuts that I showed you in my last video, and it's just a basic stock cut. So I have a nice area. Now I'm going to work on the opposite side of the nose. Again, I'm going to use a stock cut. That's the easiest way to keep the shape of the square whilst removing any excess wood that I need to. Now the reason I've done it this way is because I'm using a flat piece of wood. If I was using a square piece of wood, I could have used one of the corners to make the nose out of, and that would make it a lot easier. But because this piece of wood is flat, what I need to do is bring the outside area lower than the area that I want to protrude from the carving. So I'm almost finished now. That little bit of wood was a little bit sticky. So what I'll have to do now is just level off some of the outside wood, as you can see, just to take it down to the level that I created when I went around the square. I'm just going to speed this bit up because I don't really have much to say about this right now. Okay, so now that we've finished that, I'm just going to draw back in our lines. Again, don't have to be perfect. So we're drawing in the cheek lines. And now I take a V tool, and I use that just to go along the line, and what it will do is it will give me a long V cut. Remember I showed you how to do the little V cuts? Well, this actually makes a long V cut. It's a good tool for texturing hair, fur, lines, wood grain, all kinds of things. It's brilliant. And also for things like this, just, making a long V cut where you need it. I don't know if you noticed, but on that, I noticed the wood was a little bit tough. So what I did was I went in and I did the corner first. Then I came out and I did the rest of the line. And then that way I was at less risk of cutting myself. Because if you have to push super hard, then it's an accident waiting to happen. So I got a little tear out there. So I'm just gently going to scrape that off. So now I'm going to use my knife, and I'm going at a 45-degree angle, and I'm literally just trying to deepen that on the one side. I want to deepen that cut on the inside of what I call the cheek. So it'll add a little bit more depth, and you'll see why that helps later. Again, I'm just taking small bits at a time. It's not a race. There's no rush. I don't need to take out massive chunks all in one go. Don't forget, if you take a huge chunk and it's too much, it's much more difficult to put back than if you take a small bit too much. Okay, so we zip through that. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just adjusting the space where I'm going to draw my eyes. So what I'm doing is literally just making sure that it's flat and pretty much level, and also a big enough area for me to draw in my eyes and make them. So now I'm going to start taking the corners off of my nose. And the reason for that is I actually want a round nose. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to round out the nose as best as I can. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be centered. I know a lot of people worry about this, especially when they're first starting out. But as long as it looks good to you, then that's what's important. And also, you know, each piece of art is unique. It doesn't matter if you make the same piece 50 times, you'll never get one exactly the same as the other. Okay, so we've zoomed through that. And now I'm going to draw in the outline of the eyes. Oh, as you can see, I slipped with my pencil there. I'm just going to ignore that. And I'm also going to draw the mouth. There we go. Now you see why I needed the cheeks. And I'm back to the V tool again. I'm just going underneath the nose. It's a lot easier with the V tool just to get out some of that excess and make it kind of look the same. Again, don't forget, I'm going to be sanding it as well. So that will also help to, you know, make it look a lot neater. So here I'm just tidying it up where I may not have cut the whole piece of wood away, or sometimes it just needs a tiny bit more taken off for it to look all right. I'm just double checking the shape of the stump. And now we're back to the V tool. Again, I'm going to use this tool so that I can make the mouth. It's not a super complicated mouth, but it just adds a really cute effect. There we go. Just making sure I get that deep enough so that, you know, you can see it even after I've painted it. Now I'm moving on to the eyes. I've decided actually I could probably make them a bit bigger and a bit better. So I'll take that off. Now I'm going to redraw them on. Yeah. I always like big eyes. And big eyelids. I don't know why I put big eyelids. I just think they look super cute. And you can make them really expressionate. You can make them look tired. You can make them look surprised. You can make them look happy, normal, googly-eyed, shocked. There's so many different expressions you can do with simple designs like this. So now I use the V tool and I go around the edge, and that is really just to bring out the eyes. There's not a huge amount of detail. It's just some simple cuts. And these simple cuts will surprise you in the effectiveness of getting a good effect, really. Here I am just making, sometimes the ends of the V-cut just catch on the end if you can't get in quite deep enough. So I'm just making sure I get them out. Okay, now I am just taking the edge off of the eyes. I don't want the eyes to look too square, so I'm kind of just, I suppose the word is tapering the edge. Just going to speed it up while I'm tidying things up a little. Okay, so now I have my basic shape and I have my facial details. I'm going to try and make it look more tree-like, and I'm going to do that by going down the edges and making some stop cuts and coming up from underneath, a little bit of a swoop to it, and that should hopefully just add the appearance of it being a tree. Okay, so I just sped that up a little bit. And now we're finished. And that is the final product. On some of them I use the V tool to make like a bark texture on the stump. On some of them I don't. Just putting a couple of V cuts in the back. I just think it just adds like there's supposed to be texture on the back kind of look. Stops it from being too boring. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.